In this series, we are going to talk about Java unit testing with JUnit and Mockito. What is unit testing? Unit testing is a type of software testing where individual components of a software are tested. The goal is to validate that these isolated components function as expected. Unit tests are preferred to be done by developers during the coding phase. TDD and unit testing. TDD, which stands for test-driven development, is a method of writing unit tests first and then implement the functionalities to make the unit tests pass. In this way, we can make sure the user requirement is covered by the development and the code works as expected. Let's set up the IDE with JUnit. I'll be using IntelliJ IDEA to assist us with the coding examples. So I have created a Maven project in IntelliJ IDEA, and as you all know, a Maven project gives us this pom.xml. So setting up the IDE with Java and JUnit is pretty easy. So if you open this pom.xml, you will have something like this, some XML like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the dependencies of JUnit 5 into the pom.xml. So I'll paste the dependencies. I am getting some dependencies for the JUnit Jupyter engine, JUnit Jupyter API, JUnit platform suite engine, and JUnit Jupyter params. Initially, to get started, JUnit Jupyter API would be enough, but we'll be doing more with JUnit 5, so I'll be adding the JUnit Jupyter engine, JUnit platform suite engine, and also JUnit Jupyter params. So after adding these to the project POM, you can simply refresh, so the libraries will be downloaded to your repository. So if you are trying to use JUnit 4, you can easily find the dependencies in Maven Central as well. If you are not using a Maven project, you will have to download these external libraries that Maven already downloaded for us. So all these libraries needs to be downloaded and added to the project as third-party libraries. So after adding that, you are ready to start coding with JUnit. Let's write some code with JUnit. So to start coding with JUnit, I do have a simple class and a simple method. The class is numbers, and I have a method named addNumbers which accept two integers, and it will return the sum of those two integers. Let's write a unit test for this method. So in IntelliJ IDEA, it is pretty easy to create a unit test. Actually, to create the structure of the unit test class, you can simply right click on it, go to generate and go to test, and here you need to select the library that you are going to use for testing. In this case, it will be JUnit 5 for us. The class name, I will be using numbers test, and I'm going to generate the structure of the test method for addNumbers. The test class and the test method has been created. So it is situated inside the Java test folder, and it is inside the exact package name as our class under test class. So how do you know that this method is a test method? That is because we do have the add test annotation on top of this method. This is how we call the compiler that this is a test method. So for now I'll keep the method name as it is at numbers, but we'll talk about more on the naming conventions that we can use to address a test method. Let's create the numbers object, new number, and then I'll call the add numbers with two integers, let's say 5 and 6, and I'll create a variable named actual value. Then I'm going to create another variable named expected value, which I'll equate to 11, which is the value that I am expecting after adding 5 and 6. Then in JUnit we have a method called assert equals, where it expects two values that needs to be matched. So I need to match the expected value and the actual value. So if the expected value and the actual value is the same, this test method will pass. Alright, so to run this, we'll click on the run numbers test here, and it will build the project, and it will run our test method, which is passing. If you change the functionality of the test, let's say I'm going to change the functionality to subtraction, and even though I am expecting 11, it will return -1, which will fail the test. So I ran the same test again using this play button, which will run my test numbers test method, and it has failed because I am expecting a value of 11 which is to be added, but it was returning -1, which is 5 minus 6. So that is how you run a test method. Let's talk about some naming conventions that you can use when naming the test methods. The goal is to identify the purpose of the test without even going through the test method content. There are multiple ways of naming the test method, but here I bring you 3 popular naming conventions that you can use when naming the test methods. First method is as follows: method name, state under test, expected behavior. So if you are writing a unit test to test a method that add 2 numbers, the method name would be add 2 positive integers, return 10. So the method name is add. So what is the state under test? 2 positive integers. What is the expected behavior? It should return 10. So the second way is to use the prefix test with feature being tested. So the test name would be test add 2 positive integers. Last method has the prefix should with the expected behavior when state under test. So the method name would be should return 10 when add 2 positive integers.